This week we read two parshios, the second of which is Parsha Balak. And Parsha Balak is all about a very interesting man whose name was Bilam. He was the one Gentile prophet that ever existed. And I think when you follow the story that the Torah tells about him in this week's Parsha, even on a very simple level, you learn a very profound message. The Parsha tells us how Balak sends a messenger to Bilam, and he says to him, I want you to come curse the Jews. So Bilam says, I have to ask Hashem. That night he has a dream. Hashem comes to him in a dream, and he says to him, don't go with these men. So Bilam reasons to himself, maybe Hashem only doesn't want me to go with these men, but if I have more prestigious messengers, I'll be able to go. And he relays that to the messengers. So Balak sends more prestigious messengers. And Bilam says again, I have to ask Hashem. And Hashem says to Bilam, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, that, look, Bilam, I gave you free choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you whether you could go or you can't go. But if you go, you will not be successful on this mission. Now at this point, if you're Bilam, you should start getting the message that Hashem does not want you to go. And as we follow the story, we'll see that Hashem is going to send message after message to Bilam that he really does not want him to go, but Bilam does not seem to get the message. So Bilam goes with the messengers. On the way, Bilam's donkey is stopped by an angel 3 times. The third time, Bilam hits his donkey, and the donkey turns around and says to him, why did you hit me? And Bilam responds, he says, because you're blocking my way. And then all of a sudden an angel appears to Bilam, and again Bilam has a conversation with the angel. Bilam says to the angel, does Hashem not want me not to go? And like Hashem responded to Bilam, the angel says that God is not going to stop you from going, but you will not be successful on this mission. And Bilam said, okay, if Hashem's not stopping me, I'm going to continue to go. And time after time Hashem sends him message after message, and Bilam just doesn't seem to get the point. Hashem never specifically prohibits him from going, but on the other hand, he makes it very clear that he does not want him to go. And sure enough, Bilam goes, and sure enough, Bilam is not successful. And as you're reading this story, at least when I read this story, I keep thinking, like, doesn't Bilam get it? Doesn't he get that Hashem doesn't want him to go? Why does he keep insisting on going and going and going? It's like a little child, when you give a child a specific direction, and then the child says, but what about this? But why can't I do this? Do I have to do this? And you finally turn to the child and say, don't you understand what I'm trying to get you? I'm trying to get you to accomplish something. Why can't you just do what I want? And Bilam, again, does not get the message. I also think of him as that character in a book or in a movie where, you know, the character is about to do something where everybody knows is the wrong thing to do. He's going to put himself at danger, and you scream at him, don't do it, don't do it. And again, Bilam just keeps going and keeps doing it, and in the end, he's not successful. And I think that the climax of this message of that we can learn from Bilam about not getting messages is the conversation he has with his donkey. Because, you see, Bilam's riding down the road, and all of a sudden his donkey starts talking to him. And Bilam never really acknowledges that there's a donkey talking to him. He has a whole conversation with the donkey back and forth. Why did you hit me? Because you stopped me. And you know, the donkey tells him, well, did I ever stop for you before? Why don't you trust me? And Bilam at no point acknowledges that he's talking to a donkey. This was not a regular day occurrence. The Mishnah tells us that the mouth of this donkey was something that was created during the 6 days of creation. And this was something that only happened once. And yet Bilam doesn't get the message. And I think what we learn from that is that when Hashem's trying to send us messages, if you're going to get the message, you're going to get it right away. And if you're not going to get the message, then Hashem could send a talking donkey to you, and you're still not going to get it. Obviously, we're in a time period where Hashem is trying to send us a very, very strong message. If a worldwide pandemic is not a message from Hashem, then I don't know what is. And we have to stop and do a little self-introspection. We have to think about what is the message that Hashem is telling us. What does Hashem want from us? You know, Hashem took away our shoals for many months, and now slowly he's starting to give them back to us. And maybe that's a time for us to say, are we using our shuls correctly? Do we come on time to davening? Do we have kavana during our davening? Are we paying attention during our davening, or are we on our phones the whole time? If Hashem took away the shuls, maybe it was his way of saying, do you really want shuls? Do you really want davening? Hashem took away our schools. Hashem took away some of our learning opportunities. Maybe that's time for us to do a little self-introspection and see, how much is the learning really important to us? Do we really miss it? If we can get it back, what would we do with it? Would we take advantage of every moment? So let's not be like Bilam. Let's not miss all the obvious messages that Hashem is telling to us. Let's pay attention. Let's hear those messages. Let's take them to heart. And let's use this opportunity for growth to only become better and better. Have a great Shabbos.